Hey everyone, it's Allie, aka Some Catholic Chick, and welcome to my channel. Today I figured I would just have a kind of brief, casual chat about my Lenten plans and how my view of what I'm giving up and what I'm adding to my life during this Lenten season is different from in the years past. So first off, I'll say I'm very fortunate this year because I have a lot more flexibility in my schedule. I wake up and I decide how my days are gonna go. I have a lot of things I'm working on, but I can totally choose how the day looks. So in the past, I definitely can admit that I feel like my life really has not changed that much during Lent. Maybe I gave up chocolate, or maybe I gave up TV or something, and that was hard for me. But at the same time, those sacrifices weren't bringing me closer to God. And that's really what I wanted to focus on a lot this year, being really honest with myself, and instead of just saying something that a lot of other people say, really looking at my own life and trying to figure out what really is distracting me from furthering my relationship with Jesus. So for me, as I said, I currently have a lot of different kind of like creative projects I'm working on, and I'm someone who has a hard time shutting my brain off until tasks are completed. So pretty much my brain is just like always going, and I have a hard time just stopping, being in the moment and reflecting, being in prayer, being with Jesus. I have a hard time with that, honestly. So before Lent this year, I really tried to look at my life and figure out what are the things that I can cut out that will help me be more focused on God. And for me, as I'm sure many of you can relate, social media is a huge distraction for me. I can try and tell myself all day that there's a lot of positive things that come out of it. It helps me grow my personal brand, all of that kind of stuff, which is true, but I know how much time I waste on the app, and I know how much it can bring me not only down, kind of in a more depressed mood, but also just farther away from Jesus. At first I was like, I'll only go on to post things because I want to continue growing and all of that, but I know myself, and I know if I go on to post things, I'm not gonna be able to resist starting to scroll through. I just know myself, and I know I don't have the willpower for that. So I cut it out cold turkey, and it's been about a week. Honestly, I feel great. Even if you didn't give up Instagram for Lent or Facebook or whatever you personally go on for social media, I would encourage you to give it up maybe like one day a week or even one day a month, because I really think it just helps reset your brain a little bit. And the world is still turning, even though I haven't posted on Instagram, even though I haven't checked it. No one's called saying, oh my gosh, are you alive? What's happening? So I promise everything will be fine if you stay off. And going along with that, I honestly blocked every single app on my phone except some of the like very essential ones. And I did that just so I wouldn't be getting notifications all day, because I feel like those notifications can be super distracting for me. I feel great. That's definitely something that I'm gonna keep with me even after Lent, because we don't need to know when there's a sale on all these things. We don't need to know all this random information that just keeps disrupting our lives. So I cut all that stuff out. I'm feeling good. And so in place of going on these apps, in place of going on Instagram, I've tried to really increase my prayer because I do have so much more time. And again, before Lent, I tried to figure out where I could kind of sneak in the different forms of prayer throughout my day to just kind of help me refocus all throughout the day, because I sin daily, as I'm sure you do too, and I need constant reminders to keep myself in check. And believe me, when I say all these things that I'm doing, I have screwed up, especially with the prayer. I cut the Instagram cold turkey, but I'm still getting in the habit of doing all these different forms of prayer. So keep that in mind. I am no saint. I am not perfect. But anyway, when I do wake up, instead of turning to Instagram as I used to do, I try to read the day's readings, and I try to think of 3 things that I'm grateful for, and I do actually write that down in a little notebook, as well as my main takeaways from the readings. So that's first thing in the morning, and then at noon I try to pause and say an Our Father, Hail Mary, and Glory Be, so just super simple, but it kind of just like gets me in check, you know. And then at 3 o'clock I try to pray the chaplet. Key word being try. I don't know why, but it'll be like 2:45 and I'll be like, okay, it's almost time to pray the chaplet. And then before I know it, it's 4:30, 3 o'clock has come and gone, but it's okay. Even if you miss the holy hour, it's still great to pray the chaplet. This is what I remind myself daily. And then in the evening, I like to pray the rosary before I go to bed. It just really helps me calm down, and I feel like it's when my mind is actually the most relaxed, because I just have a hard time focusing personally on the rosary, since it is a little bit of a longer prayer in the middle of the day. So that's just like what works for me. Ryan and I have also been trying to kind of like reflect on the day day together, talk about our strengths and weaknesses. That has happened, I think, once in the last week, so that's definitely something that we are working on as a couple. But my main focus really is just to incorporate different forms of prayer throughout the day. And then also something I'm doing more this year than I ever really have in the past is focusing on fasting. So I'm not going hardcore. I am someone that actually gets very sick feeling if I don't eat enough. So what I've done is I've given up snacking this year, which might not sound like that big of a deal to some of you guys, but I am a snacker. I like to turn to a bowl of Skinny Pop at 3 o'clock in the middle of the day, or 10:30 I like to have a snack. So for me, giving up snacks really is quite difficult. And when I feel those hunger pangs, like right now actually I'm really hungry because we're about an hour away from dinner and it's been 4 or 5 hours since I've had lunch, I kind of offer that up to God. When I feel those hunger pangs, I'm like, this is nothing. You fasted in the desert for 40 days, I can fast for another hour. And I think that's pretty much everything I'm doing this year. I didn't want to take on too much, but I did want to challenge myself. One of the homilies I heard, I believe it was the Sunday before Ash Wednesday actually, was all about, obviously, Lent and how we can prepare ourselves. And he was kind of straight up honest. He gets straight to the point and he said,
"Look, I know you probably had a terrible Lent last year in many ways."
And he was totally right. He was like,
"I bet you don't even remember what you gave up for Lent."
And it's totally true because we were barely into Lent and then COVID hit. And then of course everyone's worlds changed, which as he admitted, we did give up stuff. It just wasn't what we wanted to. But I'm sure many of us really could have done more last year to turn towards the Lord. I know I myself could have done much more. So he said,
"We really need to double down this year. Let's get legit. Let's really push ourselves. Let's challenge ourselves."
And so I really took that to heart and I really wanted to challenge myself as much as I could, honestly. So that's kind of my Lenten plan. I'm a week in. I'm feeling good. I definitely have not done everything that I said every single day, especially with incorporating all those different forms of prayer. I've hardly had one day where I actually did all of that. So please don't compare yourself to me if you're doing less. You know yourself and you know what you need to work on to get closer to God. So I encourage you to do that. I'd love to know how your Lent is going though, so let me know down below if you don't mind sharing. I know that's kind of personal information, but I hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you did, be sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. If I'm ever able to make any money from this channel, I will be donating 100% of the profits to different charities into my local community. So just keep that in mind if you want to subscribe. But thanks again for watching and I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye!